Now, one of the things with that being said, I'm glad, we're talking about a heritage being passed on is part of this conversation too. And it's like, we're kind of doing things. I've always done it this way because dad and grandpas did it this way. And we're looking at, I've always looked at doing things more efficiently. And we've done a few things that are more efficient, some the same, some a little bit less efficient, just depending on what we're doing. For instance, not breeding 2-year-olds or yearling heifers, breeding 2-year-old heifers. It's less efficient on one end, but we're getting longevity out of those animals. Plus, we're not pulling as many calves, we're not losing as many. So to me, I think it's more of an efficiency. It just doesn't feel like it up front. And you don't notice it on the tail end when you got a 14-year-old cow that's going to town and she's still got a really nice looking calf on her, but it's her last one because she is sacrificing herself to be able to raise that calf. Now it's time to cut her loose. Instead of cutting loose a 10-year-old or 11-year-old, or even if you get 2 more years out of her, you've just increased beyond that 1 year you lost up front.
Yeah.
So there's that. We're doing that a little bit differently, trying to be a little bit more efficient about that for herd integrity and recruitment. But when you guys are thinking and talking in terms like this, where we're changing our model a little bit and doing it slowly, so that if it doesn't work or doesn't work as well, we're not out that much. We're not losing. It's not a big loss or a hardship. And then you work up to it where, hey, this is working. We need to do a little bit more of this. And now you have a little bit more profitability to pick up more ground to do it. So it's a good thing. It makes me feel really good that you guys are thinking along these lines, that beyond the epiphany of me going, oh, we'll just sell a heifer in the spring. That works. That just provided some meat for them to all of a sudden you guys picking this up and Braden talking about this. And all of a sudden he's like, no, you know how he is to ride in a vehicle. He doesn't say a word, right? For 200 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yesterday he's like,
I'm a great conversationalist.
In your own head, maybe. And I'm not feeding him beer while we drink, so he talks. But all of a sudden he's talking about, hey, well, what do we could do this? We could do this. I'm like, these are the things that are important to me. It's like, oh my God, you guys are going to be just fine when I die, because you're thinking about viability, you're thinking real life. And the only thing is now, okay, we have to break it down into what's a daily cost and really, really search on that. Be conservative about your numbers. The cost is going to be high. The profitability is going to be low. Will it still work? Because there's always those unseen things that you forget about, or you don't think about, or you experience a loss. All of a sudden, oh, what the heck? We got a cow, or this calf just tipped over. We just had that cow die for no reason. I couldn't find a bullet in her on, on a place of property that's really hunted. Why did she die? Don't know. She was a perfectly healthy, really good looking cow. Don't know. Doesn't mean she wasn't shot. I just couldn't prove she was, or couldn't find anything. But, this is a decent, healthy animal that just tipped over. It happens. It does. I mean, it just happens. So that's a loss. We'll never regain out of her. We've lost a calf with her. She's probably got a calf in her, most likely. When you got the low percentage of dries that we had, there's a high chance, and with a cow that's had calves before and raised good calves, there's a high chance she did. So we lost not only her, but a potential calf. So those are all these things that you guys are doing and thinking about that just like, yeah, this is good. This makes me feel good about, when I'm too old to do this anymore, you guys are going to be just fine. Keep thinking like this. Keep thinking outside the box about what's possible and what I didn't do or didn't think of until late, or we didn't do it because it wasn't necessary. But when Braden started talking about this and they said we could be completely sustainable, I thought, you know what, that conversation with that punk come back in my head with that smart ass look on his face. He goes, why don't you just take him somewhere else?
I mean, they're forcing us to do that. Yeah.
You bet. So it's like, you know what? Sometimes somebody does something like that and it just makes you try a little harder.
Yeah. Well, we need those.
Well, the other thing is that, sorry, you can't just keep doing that anyway. It's not sustainable to take them to town when you're getting zero for them,
Last year was really bad.
Money. How do you keep a ranch running when you lose money every single year?
Well, and that's the whole industry is in that right now with the Packers. Yeah, no, that's the big question that everybody's asking. My point was, this is the same market we're talking about for everybody. Everybody's trying to do different things to stay on the same freaking piece of ground that I grew up on, you know, and that you guys will take on, and someday your kids and hopefully grandkids will have grown up on, and still be doing the same things, maintaining that heritage. And for me, it's the older I get, it's more about the importance of, and I know I tell little stories about, hey, when I was about 5 years old, I used to come out onto this spot right here, and my mother didn't have a clue where I was at, but I was out here and I was, you know, I was playing cavalry, and some days I was the Indian, and, you know, my imagination was wild. I don't care. It's what it was. It was true. There's nothing about it. It was just, you know, by myself, learning how to pack a horse without knowing a damn thing about it, but I was doing it. And the joy and those days of simplicity and the imaginativeness, and I never even had it in my skull, had no idea that someday, you know, this would be mine. I'd be buying this or buying into it and trying to run it and maintain a heritage about what my great grandpa did. You know, I mean, it's important to me now. It was important to me then. It was family owned and involved, but not to the extent. I think as you age, it gets a little bit more towards what am I leaving instead of what have I done in the stages of your life, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
And for you guys, I mean, I want you guys to be able to have the best things too, and it makes you happy, and you want that, and you appreciate that. And I know you both do. That is, I mean, that I can't do anything more than that. I mean, I remember your grandpa laying on his deathbed, and he was content. He says, "No," he says, "I'm not worried. I got somebody who can handle this." And he's pointing at me, and I'm like, you know, thanks, Dad. You know, the burden is there, but who else is going to do it and still keep it because of the knowledge you've got of the places? And sometimes I just wish I could, you know, let you guys know everything I know. And he did the same thing. Wishes he could tell me everything he knew. And he sat your grandpa Yates down one time, and he goes, "Okay, tell me everything you know about cattle," which is a ridiculous statement, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
because the answer
like,
that I would give is, well, what do you want to know?
That's exactly what he said. What do you want to know? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you don't know, you know, and I'll do things, and it sounds condescending sometimes, but I don't. Like, we were, you know, I know, you know, we're putting some hay out for these steers and replacement heifers the other day, and I noticed one that just didn't quite look right. He's off to his side or off on his own a little bit. And I said, I look, and I actually took the tractor and I drove around in that pan to get a better look at him, and I looked over at Bray as I was going on, because he'd pulled strings off of these bales and was doing all the groundwork. And I said, "Hey, take a look at that calf. What do you see? What's wrong with him?" And it was more of a question, do you see what's wrong and you see what I see? I think he probably took it as, is this a test? Is there something wrong? You know what I mean? And it's not what I meant at all, but it's like, okay, I think he's got water belly, just the way he's off by himself. He's not eating. He's parked out with his hind legs. He doesn't look like he's feeling well. It isn't horrible. His ears aren't really droopy, but his eyes are a little dull. You know, all these things you look for. And I know he was looking for, and he goes, "Yeah, and I'm okay." I said, "I think that's probably water belly. We'll see." And sure enough, that's what it developed into. And, you know, we're just waiting and monitoring and treating it, and had the vet look at it the next day. But these are things that, you know, I see that I don't think of to tell you guys, and until you see them, you don't necessarily know. And it's funny because the first time that your grandpa had an animal with water belly, he says, "Hey, I need to show you something." And he goes, "See that steer?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "What's wrong with him?" And I look at him, or is there anything wrong? I look at him and said, "I think he's got water belly." And he goes, "How the hell did you know he's got water belly?" I said, "I heard about it once. I didn't even see it. I'd heard about it." And you just remember these things, of what could be the possibility. What, you know, you're thinking about things that, okay, what do I need to look for? And you're always looking these animals over. Every day you're looking them over, and you're looking for a limp. You're looking for a runny nose. You're looking for anything. And, you know, a pot belly or something sloshy. I mean, something's not right. And it just becomes a way. And you guys are doing that. You're watching that. And it makes me feel better. But I always think, God, are they missing something? You know,
Might
because
be.
I'll miss stuff. I miss stuff too. I mean, it isn't like I'm, you know, all knowledgeable, but it bothers me sometimes that I think I come off condescending, and I'm not trying to at all. I'm just trying to say, "Hey, do you see what I see? Or am I not seeing something? Or do you see something I don't, you know, or,
Yeah.
you know, do you see?" So it's about that. But I think that's all part of the learning process, and it's a little tougher because you guys were so involved in sports and stuff in high school, trying to give you every opportunity you could, that sometimes we missed some of those. We weren't available to be up there with when your grandpa really had the large hand in running it.
Yeah. Well, now I've been gone for 5 years and I don't know how to do anything. So.
Big city living.
Big city living. There we go. Oh, he set that one up. Teed it up. Oh man,
You're an idiot.
Did you see that? Did you see the stitches on that ball just before you hit it?
Yeah.
Wow, that was an easy lob.
You're precious.